First of all, what a welcome. Hi, guys.
How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, I love your energy each time. You know, you're always bubbly. You're always happy, and yeah, it's just beautiful. It's it is contagious.
Hello, Zimbabwe. Yeah. Listen, I get excited every single time I am here. Okay, everything. Let me tell you something. Zim is my love.
Yeah.
That is my first love right there. I mean, of course, my family is my first love, but Zim is my first love.
You gotta love. And you show it, hey?
Thank you.
You're not the one to then, just win outside and then just turn your back on Zim and, just forget about us. But then I just love how you always, have come back home.
100%.
Yeah. And
100%.
other people should actually take notes, who are thriving beyond the borders and who have been accepted in different markets to say, it's okay. You can balance.
Right.
You can also, just win back at home as well, and so back at home.
Yes.
Right.
You know what? My parents put me when you are giving a talent, which is the gift that I've been given, which I use my hands. Right. I have to come back and give back. My mom passed and my dad passed, but I want to live that life of giving.
Wow.
100%.
So, what have you been up to? Like, what's new? What's happening in your life? I know there's always something happening. I saw you with Tiffany Haddish to then start a conversation. Yes, I saw you that you were rolling with her. And what's going on? What's happening? What are you doing? What are you working on something? Was she here to see you? Like,
okay.
What's been going on?
So I can't tell you exactly what's going on. All I know is you Zimbos are going to be very surprised. One thing I can tell you, she loves Zimbabwe. Even though Takamtuka Jedu. You know what's so interesting? Because I really want to put this out there, right? When Tiffany Parker Pinda in the grocery stores, right? Because she went into the grocery store. And she wanted to show all this stuff, right? Everybody got offended. But that is only because she was told, Tina, remember, Patanti Sinas in my grocery stores, remember?
Yes.
And CNN, that's all they showed. And at BBC, that's all they showed. It's like she was just bringing back to light, because there's a lot of my black Americans, I think, after Zimbabwe. Okay,
and maybe to other people it can actually be shocking. But then to this day, if you are to interact with other people who've been enclosed in that European market or American market, 100%. They think that Africa is just one country,
100%.
and we stay with lions and we chill with monkeys.
She travels a lot. It's like listen, this is not the story. It's like us, how we think of America. I mean, I've lived in Hollywood for so many years.
Yeah.
When you think Hollywood, you think everything is amazing, correct?
Lights, yes.
Guys, there's homelessness in Hollywood.
I mean,
okay?
Yeah.
There are people living on the streets in Hollywood, but that's not what they show. When was the last time CNN and BBC put us groceries? And then you go to Zimbabwe, sanctions, what?
Yeah,
but they don't
that's
show.
The narrative.
That's the narrative, and that's all she was trying to say. I
think I got what she was trying to say, but then I think also as a people, sometimes we're really on the offensive side. Like we really get, or and it's not a good thing.
No,
but
you know what? Yeah. She was here for 2 weeks and she loves Zimbabwe. And it was Zimbo actually. If you saw my Instagram, the way she pronounces things, she's already taken a shorter name. She's just.
What's a shorter name?
She's got 2 shorter names.
Wow.
But I think Tawana.
Oh. Oh wow. Yeah. And we can't wait for whatever, is being cooked. As you said, you can't divulge much, but then we are waiting to hear more. And you have been doing really amazing, just different things, Jackie. You've been a professional makeup artist for over 30 years. What characteristics do you believe, make you stand out as an entrepreneur? And what say and happy? Yes.
One of the things that I was taught, it's quite a wound. What is
you left when you were how old?
I left when I was 18.
Really young?
Yes, really young, right?
Yeah.
And my mom always used to teach me, you can have something today, mangwana it just goes. So every single person that you touch, you have to touch them in a way that you leave them with an amazing feeling. That has absolutely led me to where I am in Hollywood, even starting school, getting where I am. That humanity, that kindness, the ability to really think to yourself, Kuti, am I leaving a mark with this person? And I'm just as human and I am simple as everybody else out there. I am not important than the other person.
Wow. So one of the people that you groomed as a makeup artist, she also does my makeup most times actually. So she was just talking about you the other time, just saying, wow, Jake is such an amazing person. You know, for someone who has worked under you, to then, say that about you in your absence, I thought like, oh wow, so she's actually a nice person. When someone is saying that, yes, in your absence, it actually, speaks a lot.
Thank you.
You have been working with Prayzah as well, doing his prosthetics, makeup. How's been the experience? And who gave who that idea to say, we want to do something crazy?
So this is the funniest thing, right?
Yeah.
So I met Ja like a long time ago. And then we were on the same flight. And we were just talking and he had told me that he's heard about me, but he didn't really understand Chikazi. That's what he called it, right? And in terms of makeup. And I said, I'm an artist just like you. And then he was like, what do you mean? And then I showed him some, prosthetic work that I had done. And he was like, wait a minute. And John and I have something in common. First of all, we found out that we actually, first cousins, which was really funny. We're so related, right?
Oh, wow.
And
interesting.
And then he's kind, I'm kind. We just want to make people feel good. He is so down to earth. And then we thought to ourselves, you know what? We need to change the narrative on how we are as Zimbabweans, right? We need to help one another. So we decided to do all these things, and at the same time, he's also a comedian, and we both really...
He is actually a good comedian.
He's so funny. You should see us together coming up with these things, right? We always sit there, we'll be laughing at our own jokes.
He's so funny, yeah.
Yeah. So we just decided we're going to make this a thing.
And how long does it take you to then come up with that whole face?
2 hours.
Prayzah's face, guys.
2 hours. He sits in my chair for 2.5 hours, sometimes 2 hours. And the whole objective too is I want to introduce the film world, the real film world to Zimbabwe. Yeah. You know what? Americans and even
I guess it's even bigger than the makeup that we see, the makeup
100%.
world of, yeah.
So you know what's happening right now?
Yeah.
A lot of countries are now bringing in movies into their countries. So American movies are being filmed in South Africa. I want these movies to be filmed in Zimbabwe, right? Because what tends to happen is all these people bring their experience, cameramen, makeup artists into a country. So for me, it's about expanding the makeup. Because right now, everybody does the same makeup in Zim. Yeah. And I want to be able to expand that, because if a company comes in and says they want to film here, I don't want them to hire people outside. I want them to hire us. So I want us to think outside the box. It's very important.
So that's where your mind is set now to then push that
100%
in terms of expanding what we know as makeup and the industry itself.
Well, this is the thing. This is more than a makeup. This is more than me owning, Vault Cosmetics. This is more. This is about really transforming a country and leaving, a legacy for my family and everybody else there. We should be able to change the narrative. I already changed the narrative, 12 years ago? People are now wearing makeup.
Yes.
So now it's time for us to take it to a different level.
So when you came in talking about 12 years ago,
yes.
What was your formula, to ensure that your brand is perfectly fitting into the Zimbabwean community and market, and to convince people that, you can do this? And, you've empowered a lot of people, because now they are actually thriving as makeup artists, sustaining, their own families, having an income out of it.
100%.
So,
flying outside the country.
You did that.
I'm excited to see one of my makeup artists in Italy. She was flown to Italy to do makeup. I was like, yes, this is amazing.
Wow.
So it's exciting. It's super exciting. Yeah.
So did you hear what I said? Like when you came in, how what did you have in mind in terms of just trying to convince people to say, this is it. You can actually have a whole life out of it, and for other people, not as makeup artists, but then to then be open to it, to say, you can, when you have an event, when you function, you can actually look good and have yourself made up.
Well, one of the biggest things that I had to put across is you have to see somebody that looks like you in order for you to believe the dream, right?
Yeah.
I believed in a bigger dream. I believed in going to, Hollywood and making something out of myself. So when I came to Zimbabwe, it was changing that narrative by doing exactly what people can see right there. So here I am. I would offer free makeovers, and I'd also listen to the Zimbabwean. The Zimbabwean woman is what made my brand. Because I would come in and say, hey, listen, we have this. If they didn't like it, they say, I don't like this, and I listen to them.
Really?
And that completely changed the narrative.
Wow.
But it was the free makeovers, the befores and afters. Seeing is believing. We are very suspicious. Actually suspicious. But Zimbabwe,
very suspicious.
we are very suspicious people. So it was a matter of showing them. Exactly.
What else is in it for her or something? I don't know.
I remember there was a picture of me. The first picture was of Snoop Dogg and me, and people were like, Photoshop. So we're so suspicious, but you know what was so beautiful? Is showing the befores and afters and actually showing the reality, and also convincing people that I'm just a human being. Come to me and tell me what you need. So that is really what has made this brand and have such a cult, I call it a cult, but like a cult following where people believe in the same thing over and over again, and that's what has made this brand. I still have the same customers.
Wow, beautiful.
From long time ago. They are the ones that have made, listen, I had a fire in my store.
Yeah, we're about to get into that, okay? But you had a fire, your studio caught fire. How did you get back? Well, what did you say, to yourself, and how did that moment redefine you? When you heard there's a fire, and how did you receive that news?
So officially, initially when I heard the fire, I didn't think it was that big until that is one of my pictures.
Were you here?
No, I wasn't here. I got a phone call at 11 o'clock in the afternoon in the States, and they were like, "Oh, there's a fire, but it's still dark." And then when I saw the pictures the next day, I completely freaked out. I cried, and then I thought maybe this is a sign for me to leave them, because Zim is very difficult as a business person, right? There's just so many obstacles. There's so much red tape, and I've gone through this for the past 12 years. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time. I think this is the biggest sign. It's time for me to get out of here, because my husband's like, come on, Zimbabwe is a little bit of a headache. Just get out of hand. Just come back, live in Hollywood. Let's live our life. But then it was that moment, again, of humanity. A lot of people, customers, called me, Jackie, what do you want us to do? An aunt of mine surprised me and put a whole floor. My sisters were like, we're going to put the table. And then a friend of mine who's in the States said to me, listen, just work with what you have. The great part about it is when people see you suffering and they see you going through stuff, then it becomes more of a reality that they can do it too. And I'm an example of saying, listen, I'm not rich. I'm just me. And I'm just another woman trying to do a business. And that's just that simple.
Wow, so you got back up. And
we open. People are coming, and I've got a big class that I'm teaching.
Yes, about the workshops. Yes. So the classes started this week.
So the class started this week. I decided to really do a very inexpensive class, but an extended class. I always tell my class that, hey, listen, you having $30,000 worth of educated for like $160, which is crazy. Right?
For how long?
For a month.
Wow.
Absolutely. So
is it a class for makeup artists?
No, it's a class for everybody. It's a business makeup class. And what that basically means is everybody that's leaving that class is either going to become a waitress or a salesperson
or not just makeup.
Not just makeup.
Oh, you're just empowering, like just across the board.
Just across the board. Because it's very important, right? There's a skill. They're leaving with a skill that they can do. Makeup takes forever, right?
Yeah.
But now they're leaving with a skill, not only in business, but they're leaving with a skill like threading. You're able to now, charge somebody $4 or $5 for threading. You were able to put on lashes. So those immediate skills were very important to teach. And then the business aspect of it, for you to be able to think out of the box that you're not only going to be a makeup artist, but you're going to be something else. And you can walk into a room, present yourself, and be like, I'm here, and I'm willing to do other things other than makeup.
Wow, and how are the classes going?
Oh my God, so fabulous. We have 60 women. Everybody's motivated. Everybody comes from all different walks of life. We are changing lives.
And what's your word? In the first hour, we had a trending of a pastor who asked, because of their doctrine, church doctrine, who asked the bride to wipe off the makeup because they don't believe in it. And we're just getting different comments here of people saying, other people saying, the makeup is and my potholes, just different things. What's your take on people who are still, closed up when it comes to the issue of makeup or makeup as a trend, to say it enhances you, but then to say, no, we're not for it. There are people who are really against it, especially men. Makeup yes.
Well, this is the thing. I can never convince somebody to change their mind about something that they don't know. it's just a lack of education.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they experience it and know that there's different genres to makeup is really about enhancing the features, but it's also an art. So some people love to experience a lot of makeup, but then for the people that understand that there's certain things, maybe medical situations, and maybe things like where somebody is being beaten up and they have to go to work and they have to put on that concealer so they don't have to explain themselves. I think if those men understood that this is actually a value more than it is something just fashionable. Again, education is so important, right? Knowledge is power. So when they start knowing those things, then they'll be okay. And stop being so insecure. Your wife is not going to be taken just because she's wearing makeup.
She's wearing makeup. Take several steps. So if a customer, comes to you and then asks you for makeup style, that just wouldn't work for them, what would you say? Where they show you a picture, like, I want exactly like this.
Again.
And then maybe their features or just different things.
Right. Well, education comes in. So when I explain to the customer that is the other human being, let's do something and pick little things from that look that you're looking for and let us be you. You're the star. Why do you want to be somebody else? Yeah. It's all about education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Someone asking, when are you going to have another makeup class?
Probably in about 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so everyone is welcome?
Everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. Listen, let's change Zimbabwe, because this is the deal. When we have an educated nation, we're all helping one another.
That's true.
Out of these 60 women are probably going to help 10 family members, and those 10 family members are going to help 10 family members. It helps everybody across the board. We're all involved.
That's true. So, for just the basic, makeup, on the go, what are the essentials for someone who's... I'm actually going to come to one of the classes.
Come. So, brows, super important. I want you to think...
Oh, the Jackie brow.
Yes, I want you to...
Is that doable?
Absolutely. I want you to think of your face like a house, okay?
Yeah.
And guess what the brows are? That's the frame. Without the frame of the house, the house is going to collapse. So if you don't have your brows together, everything else, it doesn't matter how much eyeshadow or lipstick you're putting on a foundation, everybody's going to notice the frame of the house, and that house will collapse. So, most important essential, get those brows together. If you got your brows together, everything else kind of works out. That is your essential right there.
And then a bit of foundation.
Brows foundation, a little mascara, a little lash.
What did you put today?
Today, I put on brows foundation, lashes, a little eyeshadow, and lip. And an orange blush.
An orange blush. Beautiful. Simple, minimalistic, and beautiful. Yeah. When you're not working, when you are not, thinking of all these things, like it takes up a whole lot of your time. What do you do?
Oh, when I'm not working, I'm working 24/7. Yeah. My life is my work, because I love it.
You love it.
I love it. So if I'm not on social media trying to work out and motivate other people to work out, because I hate it so much.
Yeah.
When I'm not,
but you have to do it.
But I have to do it. When I'm not doing that, I'm either with my daughter or my hubby, and just living. I mean, I'm a simplest. I love watching thrillers and listen to podcasts about murder. So I'll just.
Oh, you're that person.
I'm that person. So I
who
do that.
Listens or who watches criminal investigation?
Right, I am, and I'm actually a loner. I'm alone a lot.
You love your space.
I love my space.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love people, but I also love my space.
It's important. It's balance. Important. Because life is all about balance.
Yep.
And when it comes to you're an entrepreneur, you're a business, woman. A lot of your time is really taken up, with your work.
Yes.
That work-life balance, being a present wife, a mom, and working. How do you strike that balance?
I ask questions. I ask my husband if I'm not doing good. I ask my daughter if I'm not doing good, and then they help me out.
Wow.
Yes. Because how am I supposed to know what life balance is if I'm not asking the questions? There's no way you can walk in and be like, I'm balancing my life when other people are feeling a certain way. It's all about feelings, right?
Yes,
and perception. So if your family is perceiving something completely different and in your head you're thinking you're doing the best because you're balancing it, it doesn't make any sense. So ask the family. Very simple. Ask the husband, ask the daughter. They will answer in a way that will tell you the truth.
So ask. Don't assume that you're doing. Oh, no, I'm doing it. I'm crazy. I'm okay.
I ask my daughter.
You have to ask.
I'm pretty honest.
Wow.
Yeah, my husband is not a big talker, but he's a big hinter.
You'll see the signs.
You'll see the signs. If he doesn't, like, for example, be like, babe, how's everything? And if he keeps quiet, then I know we've got a problem.
Yeah. You've been married for how long?
30 years.
How do you do it?
You just do it. There's ups and downs. You're going to like him and you're going to dislike him. The most important thing is somebody has to stay in love.
Somebody
has to stay in love.
Wow.
Yep, because absolutely, someone is always out of love.
But then, okay, you can't then be out of it at the same time.
100%.
That's what you're saying.
You can't be out of it.
Someone has to want it more at any given
at that time. Because someone's going to want it more one time, someone's going to want it more the next time.
Though, hey?
But somebody has to be in it to pull you out of it.
Yeah, this is so true.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, don't let them lie to you. You're not always in love 24/7.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jackie. For someone who's listening to you and who wants to pursue their dreams, what advice would you give them?
Know what you really want, right? And the only way you can know what you want is by educating yourself. One of the questions that was asked in my class was, Jackie, how do I pursue my business? And I'm like, in educating yourself by doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, education first.
So you have to understand the craft. You have
to go to the class. Take the class, right? It doesn't have to be a long class, and see if you like it. Because taste it, we chickens, we farmers, we everything.
Yeah.
Don't be reading. Go and
follow your heart.
No, go and take a class first.
And then find out.
Yeah, because following your heart, all of us have been in love before with young people. You need to experience it and educate yourself first.
And then
if you think you like it, take a class. You'll see whether you like it or not.
Love that.
Yeah.
Jackie, thank you so much. I wish we had more time. But then for those who want to reach you, your handles and stuff,
go to my Instagram. Okay, it's JACKIEMGIDO, Jackie Mgido. I answer mostly on my Instagram. I'm hardly on my Facebook, but Instagram, I answer everybody.
Wow.
Yes.
Jackie, thank you so much. So you have to go to her gram if you have any questions as well. Right. I wish we could open up the phone line because I know